Chapter 9 The Other Side. Akechi wanted nothing more than to wake up and find it was still April 14th. He wanted nothing more than to rise and find just a simple rainy morning, not a warm sunny start to his day. He longed to find some scrap of hope that what he saw last night was but a nightmare. When he reached for his phone and saw the date, April 15th, those hopes immediately died. An eerie quiet hung out over the house. When Akechi headed downstairs, the TV was off. Nanako sat at the kitchen table, her posture drooping as she nuzzed her egg and watched it wiggle. Dojima stared at Akechi long and hard. Perhaps he could tell something was amiss. Were Akechi's eyes still red from all that crying? His hair was probably an utter disaster. He'd fix that up soon, before school. For now, he cyclically climbed into the open chair, with a plate of egg and toast and usual jam. If Yu was feeling unwell, it made sense for Nanako to go ahead with something simple. Akechi nodded in quiet thanks. Then Dojima rose from the table with a gravelly sigh. I gotta go. Something came up. I know, Akechi said, and only him seconds after, when Dojima squinted. Oh yeah? Well, shit! Time to, perhaps not an excuse, but assumptions. Yes. It's a foggy morning after another missing person was reported with ties to the Mayumi Yamano case. I suppose I can't help but fret over. He stopped himself. No, this isn't a topic to discuss over breakfast. There it was, a spark of recognition. Jojima's eyes very briefly drew wider, while he snapped back into a scowl. He rubbed circles on his forehead and turned to face the door. Just promise me you'll stay out of trouble. I will. It was the best that Dojima didn't know about Akechi's true investment in the case. Best to hide why he looked like absolute shit. Soon after Dojima left, Yu joined Nanako and Akechi in the kitchen. Rubbing his eyes, he moved over to the table. Oh, you made breakfast today? You weren't feeling good, so I wanted to do something nice, she said. And Dad said something happened. You probably won't be home tonight. The way Yu recoiled suggested he had connected the dots as well. No. Breakfast is getting cold, Akechi said, lacking his usual spark. It was a quiet breakfast, almost too quiet. But what could they even say? The walk to school did little to lift their spirits either, as the distant wails of police sirens cut through the morning fog. Rain splattered all around, striking like an endless barrage atop Akechi's umbrella. He pulled it closer, grip wavering. Yu moved closer. Akechi-kun. She's dead. Akechi snarled, batting Yu's hand away when he tried to reach for his shoulder. It's just like Mayumi Yamano. I knew her, and now... You don't know that, Yu said, but he hardly even sounded convinced. I do, Narukami. Broken laughter burst from Akechi. Slivers of tears trickled down his cheeks against his will. I saw it happen in real time. Quiet until now. Nanako looked up at the two boys and frowned. What are you talking about? Akechi didn't mean to laugh again, but at least this time was more restrained. Just a scary movie, Nanako-chan. Please don't worry. What a stupid, pitiful, transparent lie. Well, it was the best he could muster, lest he troubled the poor girl before school. If he could just prolong the harshness of reality for even a few hours for her sake, he would. Eventually, they parted ways, as Nanako wandered off to join a group of her fellow grade schoolers. Kaji must have been running behind today, so reluctantly. Akechi let Yu cover beside him as the two of them made their way towards their respective schools. What could have been a quiet walk soon became a bombardment of senseless gossip, as a pair of girls refused to shut up. When I looked, there were 3 police cars zooming by. You live by the police station, don't you? Didn't you hear anything? I heard some yelling, nothing more. Total disappointment. Disappointment. Akechi trembled, as pressure bubbled from the pit of his stomach. A crime has transpired, and you wanted to know more. Someone could be dead, and you just treat it as entertainment. You grabbed Akechi's shoulder. Akechi-kun? Akechi tore himself free, seizing. Do you think this is fun? A serial killer is in town, and they clearly have no qualms targeting innocent girls like you. His outburst silenced the girls. Good. Akechi cocked his head to the side, smirking. Not so funny now, is it? He laughed again, hoarse and dry, before turning around and storming off. When he finally reached the school, he channeled all his energy on taking notes, following lessons, and doing anything to keep his mind occupied, anything to keep him stimulated. Because in the quiet moments in between classes, his mind was left to wander. Images from the night before replayed in his mind: claws, teeth, screams, shadow. That damn bear couldn't do a damn thing, could he? Fucking Murakami, leaving that girl's fate in the hands of a creature he barely knew. They should have gone back. They shouldn't have done something. So why couldn't they? Why couldn't they? Why couldn't Akechi do anything? Midway through the day, the intercom buzzed to life once more, tearing Akechi from the depths of his own self-pity. Attention all students. There has been another accident within the school zone. We ask that for your own safety you travel in groups and return home as swiftly as possible. That is all. Another accident? One girl asked. You think it could be another Moya? I'll heard the cops this morning. An idiot boy who should have kept quiet dared to say, as if it was some exciting scandal. Akechi had half a mind to stand up, to shout, to scream at everyone to shut up. Then his phone vibrated, and Akechi hastily whipped it out to find a message for Kanji. I'm heading your way. Hang tight. A wave of relief smashed over Akechi. He clutched the phone close, shutting his eyes for a moment, breathing in. In the end, he could only imagine okay in response. How pathetic. Couldn't even bother to use proper grammar this time. More pitiful was the way, when the class finally let its students free, he rushed out the door, scrambling outside in the hopes that he'd see Kanji. He was right there, umbrella in hand, a deep frown on his face that told all without the need for words. And Akechi? He ran, rushed, dived at him, skidding to a stop once he realized what he was doing, and just stood there, head down. What was he thinking? What was he doing? Why was he so... Abruptly, without warning, Kanji grabbed Akechi and pulled him into a tight, one-armed hug. The sudden contact made Akechi go limp. He just stood there motionless as the waterworks began anew, right in front of the school. How embarrassing. How weak. Hey, Akechi, come on. It's not your fault, right? This sucked. All Akechi could do was just press his forehead against Kanji's chest. So humiliating. He endured far more personal hardships over the years, and this was what pushed him into the breaking point again. I knew this would happen. I knew. I couldn't even do anything. Damn it. I told her it'd get better. Well, now, it'll never get better for her. What was he thinking? Offering such sugar-coated reassurances. He did more than just about anyone in this damn town. He knew something was up. You got us both looking out for her. Hell, I wouldn't even looked at that midnight channel if you hadn't included me in. He was right, of course. Akechi had done more than the idiotic bystanders who sort of gossip and speculate than actually care about the serial murders going on in their hometown. Akechi had gathered clues. Akechi had taken initiative. He sniffed, and he hated that. He hated sounding like a whimpering child. But it wasn't enough. Maybe if I had the power. Maybe if I could have gone after her. Power. Kanji paused, releasing his hold on Akechi, but he only slightly moved back before he crouched down slightly. Hey, how about we go fetch Nanako, and we can talk about this back at your place? Right. Nanako probably heard something too. They couldn't leave her alone. Wiping his eyes, Akechi finally took out his umbrella. Alright, then let's make haste. When he finally reached the grounds of the elementary school, a wide-eyed Nanako came running for them. Akechi-kun! Kanji! Hey! Kanji cracked a weak, tired smile. Figured he was a company on the way home. Nanako nodded, scurrying over to Akechi's side. I'm fine, Nanako-chan. Another transparent lie. Could he even follow a small child so easily? You don't feel fine. Apparently not. Then again, she was quite perceptive for her age. So strong. She wasn't even crying. I'm processing. A small admission wouldn't hurt, he supposed, as the three of them began their trek back home. Another crime. So soon after the last. It's scary. But I need to be strong. For you. He was her elder. He was supposed to be responsible. He was supposed to be better than this. She looked up at him with sheer conviction burning in those big round eyes. The resoluteness dazzled her soft childish features. Oh, Nanako-chan. You must be strong already with how much you've endured before. It was still so spirited, still so kind. A fortress had formed around her heart, leaving it so open and warm. Ever the wise ones, he said, well, you don't you worry too much about me. Your friends are important too, and you seem really sad. It's just difficult, Nanako-chan. The person they found was... Was it right to burn Nanako with this? Well, I can only hope this madness will end soon. But in all likelihood, it would not. Hey, I got an idea, Kazi said, perhaps in an attempt to lighten the mood. As soon as we get home, I'll call an order from Aya's. A hot beef bowl always cheers me up on a rainy day. Tempting. But wouldn't it be better if we go Dutch? You kidding? You're stuck on allowance while I'm working a part-time job. It just ain't right to make you pay on a crappy day like this. All right, if you're absolutely sure. Akechi sighed in defeat, knowing better than to push back against someone as bold as Kanji. I should probably call Narakami-san as well. Would he even want food from Aya's? Was he going to head straight home? Whatever the case, Akechi selected him from his contacts. Then the phone rang, and rang, and rang, and rang. No response, just voicemail. Hey, this is you. Guess we just missed each other. Well, if you leave a message, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Akechi hung up. Aya's phone was off. Perhaps he was back in that world. A world out of reach. A world of tragedy. Tucked behind a TV screen. They should have tried harder. That was all you could think of when the assembly confirmed the worst. Akechi had even warned them. He knew Saki was going to die. One way or another, he was one step ahead. When they all met in the hall after the news of Saki's death, Yosuke had even raised an important question. He had dark circles under his eyes. His voice was weak and hoarse. Hey, did you check out the TV last night? At first, Chie gasped, bringing her hands to her hips. Yosuke, not you too! But you cut in, expressing stern. No, let's hear him out. Even Akechi thought he saw Saki the other night. And that's just it, Yosuke said, crossing his arms. Yesterday, he knew Saki-senpai was in danger. But something else he said struck with me. He said the last person who appeared died. Yeah, you sighed, gazing at the floor. Akechi's really infested in the Midnight Channel. Maybe too infested. It was truly linked to the serial murders. That other world, too. And he barely spent any time there, and they all left feeling exhausted. Hey, wait a sec, Chie said. That room we saw yesterday had torn up posters of Mitsuru Hiragi, right? It was kind of like one of the rooms to the Adamaki Inn. Yosuke's once sorrowful look sharpened into a scowl. They grit the fabric of his sleeves. That bear said people were getting thrown in there. You even had him go look for Saki. But it didn't work. You said, no, but that's just it, you. When I watched the Midnight Channel last night, I heard him. He was right there. Suddenly, Yosuke's posture stiffened, and he stopped his foot. Damn it! If we had just got back in there, we might have found her in time. You don't know that, Chie said. We didn't have weapons, Yosuke. All of us were wiped out. What makes you think we could have made a difference in there? Because I knew Saki. Because I'm not so stupid, flimsy bear that looks like he'd fall over if he does it the wrong way. Because at least then, we could have at least said we tried. So many what ifs. But no guarantee they'd pay off. This wasn't something they could take lightly. If someone was pushing people into TVs, that meant someone else had the same power as you. This was no ordinary murder. Akechi had already suspected supernatural involvement, and now they had proof. And that wasn't all. In the back of his mind, you recalled the words of a long-nosed stranger with a high, reedy voice. It seems you will encounter misfortune at your destination, and a great mystery will be imposed upon you. Yosuke, you said, his voice level and expressing calm. Let's go back there. Chie stumbled back, gawking. Are you serious? This isn't something we can ignore, Chie. The police would never believe us. And if I got this power, then it's my responsibility to use it for the right reasons. Hell yeah! After all, Yosuke would know all about with great power comes great responsibility. And that's another joke for my Yuri Lorenzo to counter. Yosuke clenched his fists, lining up for the first time that day. I knew I could count on you. I mean, after all, in Code Geass, they were really close. And that's my Code Geass joke. You're going to do it no matter what I say, aren't you? Said Chie, shaking her head. I have to, said Yosuke. We had a chance to save Saki-senpai, and we blew it because we were too clueless to connect the dots. But the killer's still out there, and use our one shot at finding the truth. He started down the hall. It's that, or we let more people die. And like hell, I'm going to let that happen. You guys are ridiculous. It's like you got a death wish. Can't be helped, you shrugged, following Yosuke. Besides, I'm not letting Yosuke handle this alone. She lingered there for a few seconds before she grumbled and danced up beside you. Do you even have a plan to get out of there? We don't even know if the bear made it. Yosuke looked over his shoulder. Oh, I've got a plan. Just you wait. That plan involved purchasing golf clubs to use as blunt weapons and tying ropes around them as a lifeline, with nothing but Chie as an anchor. Chie protested, of course. You couldn't really blame her when there was no guarantee the ropes would hold once they slid through the screen. With no other choice, the boys plunged inside. To their credit, they landed on their feet this time. Unfortunately, the moment they landed, you looked down at his waist to find the rope had indeed snapped. A thick yellow fog still rolled over the surroundings too, making it difficult to discern anything but blurring stage lights and looming scaffolding. They obviously weren't alone, though, because the second they landed, the sound of sniffles and sobs immediately pulled Yu's attention to the bear's familiar round shape. He didn't look so hot, down on his hands and knees, with fur frazzled for good measure. Why? He said between sobs. Why didn't you come back? I couldn't. Yosuke stomped past you, walking up to the bear and grabbing his wrist. He yanked him back on his feet, glaring at his face. Start talking, bear! What happened to Saki-senpai? Yosuke! Damn it, why did he have to be so rough? You moved closer, ready to intervene at a moment's notice. Tears gushed down the poor bear's face. I tried to save her. I really did. But then a scary version of her showed up and started saying a bunch of things he didn't want to hear. It was unbearable. Yosuke leaned closer, teeth bared. And you just let it happen. You had no problem kicking us out, so what gives? Eep! You gotta understand. That other her was a shadow. It might have had Saki-chan's sweet face, but... Yosuke shoved him back. You do not get to call her! That's enough! You stepped between Yosuke and the bear, pulling the latter back to his feet. I get it. You're still grieving, but it's no excuse to take it out on him. Let him talk. Then we'll worry about the dude next. Thank you. The bear clung to you, which was unexpected, but he deal with it for now. If he saw Saki's final moments, then probably needed the comfort anyway. But like I was saying, that shadow was made up of all the feelings Saki-chan didn't want to accept about herself. I tried to help her through it, but she couldn't bear to mean all the things it said. And when she denied it, it went all berserk. All I could do was watch until it was too late. There. You stroked his mangled fur. You did your best. I'm sorry we couldn't be there to help you. No, I made you go. It's a good thing, too. I don't think I'd be able to live with myself if anyone else died in this world. But they still might, Yosuke said, finally regaining his composure. You said that there's some bastard pushing people in, right? You still think it's him? No. He asked me to save that girl, so it can't be the same guy. The bear pulled away, smoothing out his fur. But that means there's probably someone else with the same kind of power out there. and I'm just one lonely little bear. He threw it down like a wilting flower, whimpering, I'm not good for anything. Hey, don't say that. You offered a small smile for reassurance. You know this world, and you knew it'd be dangerous for us to stick around. You might not say Saki, but you still saved us. The bear sniffled, rubbing his eyes. But she seemed very important to you, and I was right there, and... Look, Yosuke said, maybe I was a little hard on you. You know this place a hell of a lot better than we do, so... He hesitated, sucking air through his teeth. I guess we still need you. You need me? Sure do, you said. That's why we're here. Well, I'll learn the truth as much as you do. The bear gasped. You mean you'll really help me? Well, yeah, said Yosuke. Why the hell do you think we came back here? I lost someone special to me because of that freak. No way I'm going to let that slide. We're a bit more prepared this time. You branded the golf club Yosuke brought for emphasis. You show us the way, we'll handle the rest. Oh, a weapon! That's smart thinking. It was relieving to see that bear smile again. Well, alright, but if you're serious about this, you're gonna need these. He reached behind his back and whipped out 2 pairs of glasses. Yosuke accepted the orange-framed pair, squinting. How are these going to help us? Try them on, you'll see. You took the gray-framed pair and slipped them on. The moment he did, holy shit. It was like the fog had disappeared. Everything looked so sharp. Sprawling catwalks, stay-lights on tripods, scaffolding now stood crystal clear all around him. The floor below was adorned with a black and white target pattern, with white silhouettes of human bodies spread out like some inverted crime scene in Talk's drawings. Fitting for a place inside a TV, the whole place looked like some bizarro set for a movie or low-budget program. Once Yosuke put on his own glasses, he boggled his surroundings. Whoa! The difference is like night and day! With these on, it's like the fog doesn't exist! Yep! That's why he said you'll see! The bear giggled at his own joke. What squeezed the groaning out of Yosuke? You wouldn't complain, though. None of it meant turning a corner in his grief. Ugh. Can we skip to the part where we show you in Saddles where my senpai died? Okie dokie! Shadows don't usually attack normal people, so you'll probably be safe. So what the hell happened with Saki's? Well, that's because the fog was about to lift, and she couldn't accept her other self. So if you start seeing another you, then you'll want to be very careful. The bear turned to you, grinning. But at least he's got a nice hard thingamajig to sling around if things turn grisly. You adjusted his glasses, giving the small golf club a small squish. Yeah, but let's hope it doesn't come to that. While Nanako turned on the TV to another cheery episode of Buchimaru and Friends, Akechi and Kanji sat down at the kitchen table. I'm gonna snacks, Nanako said, shuffling into the kitchen and dragging out a few boxes and bags. Ultimately, she set down a bag of ume norimaki, seaweed rice crackers, and a bag of Riska chocolate sticks. At the same time, Kanji whipped out his phone. Hey, could I order something for delivery? Cool, thanks. So I'm thinking 1 kid-size Nikudan and 3 medium beef bowls. And the address is... Wait a minute. 3 beef bowls? Kanji nodded. You said you senpai wasn't feeling so hot, right? And he's been on cooking duty since he got here. How generous. You sure you can afford it? Don't worry about it. He paused to listen to the phone. Yeah, Cass is fine. See you soon. Once he hung up, Kazi rested his arms on the table and looked at Ketchy in his eye. So, you say you saw something freaky yesterday? Ha! At this point, more than one thing. But no doubt Kanji had witnessed the same Midnight Channel broadcast. So Ketchy simply said, I did. I'm afraid words can't really describe it. It might be better if I showed you. Just keep quiet, alright? Kazi nodded. Ketchy selected the photos you partially submerged in the TV screen, with Chia and Yosuke behind him. Kazi dropped the seaweed cracker in his hand, jaw dropping. The hell's that? Luckily his cracker hit the table, so it wasn't a true causality. After taking a bite, he leaned closer and whispered, That ain't edited, right? I don't even have a computer, Kanji-san, and if that isn't proof enough, Akechi selected a video clip of you, Yosuke, and Chie flying out of the TV screen. Holy shit. Kanji paused. I mean, holy crap. Crud? All things considered, his accurate correction has brought some much needed levity to an otherwise dismal day. My thoughts exactly. This isn't natural. In fact, I dare say it's supernatural. So that's why you wanted me to touch the TV screen. Catchy nodded. So you're saying the three of them went into the TV? Somehow. He chuckled barely. I bet he's there right now. I couldn't tell you what he's doing. There is something going on, and I have every intention of figuring out what. There had to be a reason you attained those abilities. He seemed shocked when he had used them, so it couldn't have been something he had seen before. Moreover, it seems that someone is throwing people into the TV. Sighing, Akechi toggled onto one picture he took of Saki. Couldn't blame Kanzi for grimacing at the sight. Do you think the murders happen within this TV realm? It's essentially a given now. There's this being within the television. He was the one who called Kanishi-san's name last night, and he told Narukami-san that when the fog lifts within the TV world, that world becomes lethal. At very least, the implication was there. Understandably, Kazi remained quiet for a few moments. This was a lot to process up close, let alone second hand. Damn, how I get you why you've been so reckless? But there's not much to do unless Narukami-san corroborates. I'll try to discuss it with him. I do think we know enough to draw at least one conclusion. Mackenzie peered across the house, towards the TV screen, still adorned with colorful animal characters. The Midnight Channels and the murders are connected, just as I suspected. Yeah, after last night, there's no freaking way they ain't. Kazi took one of the seaweed crackers and chomped down. But here's what I don't get. Why is all this all going on? And why now? The timing is strange. I haven't even heard the Midnight Channel until... Wait a moment. Akechi rested his elbows on the table, struck his chin in contemplation. The gas station attendant alluded to something and told me to listen to the local gossip. So nearby teenagers spoke at the Midnight Channel soon after, and that man seemed so intrigued by my investment. He may know something deeper than I suspect. There were other oddities. The handshake, for one. The problem was, that man seemed to only appear intermittently. How often was he scheduled? This would take some careful planning, but regardless, it's not fair. Konishi-san did not deserve this. And now he's been reduced to another topic for idiotic teens to gossip about. Akechi barely knew her. He wouldn't call her a friend, and yet he did know her. He spoke to her the day before her disappearance. He never suspected this turn of events, and now... Hey, Kazi's voice was grounding at least. Listen, I don't know what to say. Shit, it's effed up that this happened to someone. I mean, we just talked to her like it was any other day. Feels like we could have done more to help her, but I mean, we can't now. And hell, I don't know what we can do with all this info either. Still feels like something way out of our league. Kazi once wanted chocolate treats, forehead crinkling and brow tight. But your pop's a cop. Akechi reflectively corrected him. Foster parent. Same diff. Point is, you can show what you found. And then what, Kanji-san? Even if he did believe me, Narukami-san is the only one who can do whatever it is he did with the television. I need more time to evaluate what's going on before I can act decisively. But you are going to do something. The uneasiness in Kanji's voice was worrying sign. Was he going to try to dissuade Akechi? Best to test the waters. For now, I'm going to try and compile all the facts thus far and attempt to make sense of everything. A follow-up investigation will ensue when I get the chance. For now, we should both keep our eyes on the Midnight Channel. Then unless you have second thoughts. Against pleasant surprise, Kazi grinned and leaned back to his chair. Like hell I'm looking away after all this. Kazi couldn't hide his smile, brought on by Kazi's support. It would have stung if one of the only people he cared about pushed back against his investigation. Then let's hope for some good news tonight. A convenient timing that, just as their conversation wound down, the doorbell rang. Sliding out of his seat, Kazi approached the door. Sliding it open to reveal a teenage girl with blue hair pulled back in a white headscarf, red apron over a short-sleeved white shirt and matching skirt. She greeted Kazi with a flat expression. 3 medium beef bowls and 1 kid's Nikudan. She bowed, handing it over to bag in exchange for Kazi's money. Just leave the bowls when you're done. What, outside the door? I guess he asked. The girl nodded. Yeah, standard procedure. Kathy laughed. I can't Senpai's a pro. Don't worry about it. How odd. They can't like everything else. Perhaps it wasn't so strange. Before this Aika girl can leave, Nanako came to as he crossed the house, offering extra money. Easy too! Considering the workload, she certainly deserved nothing less. Teddy had warned them. They knew that Saki had encountered a lookalike and refused to accept it as herself. That refusal killed her in the end. There was a chance that any of them could meet a similar fate, facing their darkest, ugliest selves. At first, it seemed relatively fine. Sure, a bunch of freaky globs of darkness with creepy blue masks surrounded them when they reached the distorted reflection of the Koninishi liquor store. And yes, those same blobs mutated into freaky, striped orbs with giant mouths and flopping tongues, eager to devour their group. But a rush of power from within called to you. He whispered the fabled word. Oh, you don't just whisper this. Persona! And with that declaration, he summoned forth a masked armored being with a black long cloak, wielding a long bladed spear. I am thou art I, Inazaki said, as he, and with a crackling explosive electricity, you and his persona tore through the shadow swarm. First, all seemed well. But the haunting voices of the townspeople, Asaki's father, and even Saki herself gradually weighed upon Yosuke's back. When his own mirror image appeared with glowing gold eyes and a smoky blue aura, everything fell apart. Yosuke, be careful! He cried when things began to go south, as the shadow Yosuke mocked the real Yosuke's resolve, claiming he was only in for the thrills. That Saki's death didn't matter. That in the end, he was living out a heroic power fantasy to escape the loneliness of his life. You walked beside Yosuke, gripping his shoulder. It's okay if you feel this way. I won't think any less of you. Like hell it's okay! Yosuke smacked Yu's hand aside, shallowly laughed. Don't bother encouraging him, dude. The truth is, he's mad jealous you're the guy with the superpowers. This idiot couldn't even enter this world without you giving him a little nudge. Now, isn't that sad? Hey, to be fair, Simone is just a little more awesome than Leoch. And I'm saying this as a guy who loves Code Geass to death. He shook his head, grin whining, and stared deep into the real Yosuke's eyes. He walks in, gets a fancy persona, and has to save your ass. You thought he'd be like you, just as bitter, just as resentful, just as ready to say hell with this town. Sir, you might act like you're bros, but it's only because he's useful to you. If you had your way, you'd be leading to fuck off! Yosuke screamed, whipping out two monkey wrenches. You think you could tear us apart? Is that your big plan? Yosuke, calm down. You glanced at Teddy. This is a part of him, right? Teddy gulped, then nodded as best as he could without a neck. It says all these mean things, but there's still some truth to them. Maybe they're feelings you try to hide, because they're so cruel, but... No! Yosuke protested despite the warnings, and Yu clutched his golf club tire just in case. You, it's not like that. I swear, I wouldn't use you. I know. That's what he says. But the fact he's so chill just pisses you off, doesn't it? The shadow spread his arms. He's so cool. He's so calm. He's so kind. And it makes you think. Why are you here? Why do you bring to the table? A friggin' 12-year-old figured out stuff faster than you! Yosuke's shoulders quivered. His knuckles turned white from how tightly he squeezed his wrenches. Then before Yo could even hold back, he charged at Xiao ready to strike. But the Xiao caught both his wrists and twisted his arms behind his back. Oh, does Weedle Yosuke want to tussle with the big bad shadow? I guess that means you won't accept me after all. He released his grip just long enough to kick Yosuke back. You rushed up, catching him. Inazaki! Lightning swept out the room. but the shadow Yosuke ducked behind a large banner. It lit up in flames. Huh, you have the big guns, huh? Not even a shred of remorse. Yu shivered and Yosuke surged in Yu's arms. You. It's not me. It's nothing like me, I swear! The mad cackling that followed proved those were not the right words. Even before Yosuke's shout stepped into flames, his body twitched and swelled and stretched and contorted. Two legs became four, his waist elongated, stretching into a huge, toothy maw with squinty red eyes. The once humanoid form became bathed in black, with golden shurikens for eyes, a flowing red scarf, and huge yellow gloves. Gosh darn it, Yuri cannot escape being Sasuke, can he? You set Yosuke down, shooting a glance over at Teddy. You two take cover. I'll take it from here. At least now he had the power to fight. Warm food and pleasant company further soothed Akatsu's mood. Per Akatsu's request, they had changed the channel just in time to catch another episode of Featherman Victory. What a shock then to see Kanji so actively invested, cheering and shouting alongside Nanako. Thus an explosive mech battle against a giant flying chimera took place over the city of Tokyo. Damn, this is making me feel nostalgic. He paused, rubbing in the back of his head. Just, don't tell anyone I still watch this. His remark made Akatsu raise his brow. Anyone who would judge you as a fool can't appreciate the intricacies of the Featherman franchise, nor the artistry of Tokusatsu as a whole. Tokusatsu, Nanaka repeated. The thing you imagine yourself, right? Not just Featherman? As well as kaiju films. Akashi said, anything that involves elaborate sets, practical effects, and lovely crafted costumes to convey the illusion of action fantasy. Man, I remember wanting to make cool costumes like this when I was little. Kashi leaned back, cushioning his head with his arms. Didn't really have the skills for it then. I'd probably be a total laughingstock if I tried it now. Don't be so sure, Kaji-san. Cosplay is quite popular, and your skills with clothing design are even half as good as your knitting. I think you'd be a real show stealer. Akechi watched the action scene with a wistful sigh. It was almost as if the morning's grief had never transpired. When I was young, I often dreamed of going to fan conventions, but we could never afford it. Perhaps when these murders are behind us, we could. Ah, that was quite a thing to ask, especially under the present circumstances. What was Akechi thinking? There was no telling where the case would go, where it would succeed, or how secure Akechi's future in this house truly was, even with all Toshima's reassurance. Kazi didn't respond at first. Was the request too much? It was rather spur of the moment. Not even something Akechi could entertain, but, heh, guess it wouldn't be so bad if I had somebody else with me. Perhaps Akechi worried for nothing. He opened his mouth to respond when his phone started ringing. He saw you never call me on the caller ID. He immediately flipped the phone open and said, About time you called back, Narukami-san. This seemed to get Nanako's attention, as he turned away from the TV and listened in. Hey, cut me some slack, said you. A lot happened today. But are you okay? No thanks to you. Perhaps that was a bit harsh, but it was true. You had gone completely silent while someone says a text. Let me guess. You went there again, didn't you? Jeez, you're noisy. I have a right to be nosy, Narukami. I saw what you did that night. Kazi coughed. Not to butt in, but is this appropriate to be talking around Nanako? Oh, God. Kazi-san, please refrain from placing such vulgar images in my mind. I didn't mean it like that. It's just, top secret stuff. Nanako gave the above a puzzled look. Top secret grown-up stuff? Kazi added with a quick smile. I guess he blew an audible sigh. Best to use less direct phrasing then. Narukami-san, this affects me too. You may possess a certain gift. I've been following that particular broadcast well before your eyes. Hugh returned Kessie's silent with one of his own. Look, we can talk about this later, after everyone else has gone to bed. Deal? Fine. I'll accept your compromise for now. But you better hurry home before Dojima-san returns. If Dojima returned, already on my way. You hung up. An awkward silence fell over the living room. Then Nanako cut in with a simple, So, you guys don't wake up, right? True to use word, he arrived soon after. His hair slightly frazzled and posture slumped. Pressed one hand against the door frame, staring across the house. Oh, Kanji's here. That makes sense. Kanji got up from the house, flinching. Oh, hey, sorry to barge in like this. We invited you, and you were kind enough to pay for Narakami-san's dinner, said Akechi. You have nothing to explain. Wait, are you serious? You looked down for a moment, then across the kitchen where one unopened bowl remained on the table. Oh, how much do I owe you? Kanji waved his hand. Don't worry about it, senpai. Heard you weren't feeling so hot, so I just wanted to do you a solid. He grabbed the bowl from the table, making his way into the living room. In this house, he is the true senpai, he said with an exaggerated bow. He welcomed me into his room graciously, and Kathy scoffed. I didn't have much choice in the matter. Kazi's posture sagged like a half-empty flour sack. Guess things ain't going so smooth after all, Nanako said. Akechi immediately flashed a smile. This isn't a fight, Nanako-chan. I was simply correcting your cousin. Yeah, well, Kazi looked between you and Akechi. Sounds like you two got some stuff to sort out, so, He stepped towards the door, then stopped to give Akechi one more glance. Talk later? Why, of course, Kanji-san. If the rain keeps up, I suspect it'll be soon rather than later. While Yu successfully made his way to the table, Akechi changed the channel to the news. With a potential midnight channel, it's important to keep an eye on the press. Our next story is an update on our ongoing report on the bizarre murders occurring in Inaba. At around 7 a.m., local high school student Saki Konishi was found dead in Inaba's residential area. Since the body was persistent, similarly to the last victim, since Miss Konishi was the one who discovered that body, police are proceeding under the assumption this may be a serial murder case related to the death of Mayumi Yamano. The coroner's report established that Miss Konishi's time of death at around 1 a.m. last night. The body went unnoticed until this morning as a result of the heavy fog blanketing the area. 1 a.m. After the midnight chill, and like Mayumi Yamano, corpse appears with the fog. This only solidifies what they already knew. Nanako sighed. Betsy rose from the couch, crouching beside her. We're here for you, Nanako-chan. If you like, I can help you with the remaining chores. It'd be a good opportunity to just challenge frustration to something. It'd be way better if we tag team it. You said between bites, I'm game. Narakami-san, with all due respect, you look terrible. Not too terrible to do dishes, though. Of course he'd be an overachiever. The report continued. Amagi Inn, located upstream of the Senegal River, is the town's oldest historical landmark. Vacationers are known to travel surprising distances in order to visit its open-air, radium-rich hot springs. After the incident with Miss Yamano, Master has stepped aside, leaving her daughter, Yukiko, to fill her shoes. Shit! They fulfilled the criteria thus far. Media attention, if that was the deciding factor, since Yukiko's girl's life was at risk. Yu's eyes slowly drew wider, suggesting he was on a similar wavelength, or perhaps simply worried about his friend. Well, I guess he assumed they were friends, considering he referred to her by her first name before. In other words, she's a manager who's still in high school. Now that has a nice ring to it. Let's see if we can interview her. Excuse me. Akechi glared at the screen. Must he be so noisy? Yu sighed and shook his head, but otherwise remained silent. There was certainly an unspoken sentiment of, look who's talking, however. The girl on the screen looked familiar. Long black hair with a pale complexion and delicate features. In place of red, she wore a sakura pink kimono. That was the girl he had spotted Chie with, wasn't she? Um, are you speaking to me? Huh, that's odd. That was my Rei Yayami voice. Why was I doing that? Weird. We heard that you're the new manager. Is it true that you're still in high school? Yukio looked away from the camera, swirling a lock of hair. Oh, well, I'm only filling in temporarily. Someday, though. That aside, wow, you're looking gorgeous in that kimono. You must have a lot of male visitors. Absolutely disgusting. Yukio was still a teenager. Akechi's lips curled back at the mere thought of a grown man eyeing her in such a sickening way. I feel called out. Not because he personally knew her that well. It was the principle of it. But hey, we all know who's the real girl that gets totally drilled over by whatever kind of freaks are out there. Yo's blatant discomfort only solidified Kenzie's view as he backed away, head down and voice strained. No, that dogger of purport refused to leave well enough alone. He kept rambling and prodding Yukio, and Kenzie rose to his feet, simply fuming. First Koenishi-san, and now this? These people no shame! Nanako scratched the remote, switching the channel to a nature documentary, showcasing the beauty of Mount Fuji. So what things that make you mad? Okay, Nanako, sometimes that's fun, though. Kenzie ducked his head. Apologies, Nanako-san. I hope I didn't frighten you. The report was mean, she said. I'm interested. Looking up from his bowl, you said, Akechi-kun, I'm not happy either. We can't control what the press does. It's still repulsive. That's all he could say before frustration took hold, and he excused himself to aid Nanako with some chores. Afterwards, he retreated to the bedroom to cool down. He chipped away at some homework before eventually returning to his notes. With the additional information, it was time to revisit his findings. First, under the Midnight Channel section, Night 4. Infrequent cluster static. Saw a girl with long hair, what looked like a black school uniform. This was after Saki Koenishi appeared on the news, having uncovered Mayumi Yamano's corpse. Same night, Yunori Kami placed his hand through the television screen after developing a sharp headache. Next day, Saki Koenishi was reported missing, solidifying my suspicions that those who appear on TV will appear on Midnight Channel. Night 5. Kenzie's hand trembled. His chest tightened. His lungs flooded with air. He needed to relax. He needed to focus. He just had to breathe out, then in. Little by little, with that same trembling hand, he wrote, Night 5. Saki Koenishi appeared, screaming. A large monster with a huge mouth, long nails, and sharp teeth attacked her. Alongside the same shouts consumed Mayumi Yamano. Through the screams, a voice called her name, but it was no use. She was reported dead the next day. Like Mayumi Yamano before her, her corpse turned up with the fog. Time of death was reported at approximately 1 a.m. Midnight Channel broadcasted her demise. Tear tops stained the page. Kenzie squeezed his eyes shut and grasped his head with both hands, fingers digging through his hair. Fuck! It wasn't fair. It just wasn't. No, he needed to focus. Back to an earlier section. Suspicious supernatural phenomena in Inaba. Marie, mysterious amnesiac girl, speaks a strange room and claims to be inhuman. Maybe spying on me. Works for the Nose and Margaret, and reside in the room. The Nose, mysterious entity who makes contracts. Perhaps he is interested in me? Fox, abnormally intelligent guardian of the shrine. Midnight Chow, watch the television on rainy nights at midnight. Seems to forecast impending deaths. The little gas station attendant. First spot tonight I made Kanzi Tatsumi. I noticed him, but he disappeared in the blink of an eye. Offered me an umbrella on a rainy day. Shook hands with Yunori Kami, giving him a headache. Something is highly suspicious here. He's intrigued by how I contact my research, interested in future discussions. Yunori Kami, able to enter the television and take others with him. The killer also seems to possess similar ability. Their motive and identity are unknown. TV world, still unknown. A bear exists there, immense at throwing people inside. The success wields a similar power to Narukami, if not Narukami himself. Seems doubtful due to the timing. It's genuine surprise when he touched the TV. No victims are slaughtered within the TV world. As I heard the bear's voice speak through the Junet's TV, the same voice cried out during Konishi-san's murder. Monsters. They're creatures in the TV world that kill people trapped inside. Nature is also unknown. The question was, what they could expect now. Two deaths using the same method suggested that this truly was a serial murder case, and, if Kenzie's suspicions were correct, the Yukio girl could be the next target. Disregarding the media attention, the connection to Mayumi Yamano was inescapable. So from one angle or another, Yukio was the most logical candidate. The door cracked open, and Yu slipped inside. Hey, you Ready to talk? Mackenzie closed his notebook and swiveled his chair. Yes. See, there's quite a bit to talk about, like the world inside the TV. You sank into the couch, massaging his brow. Look, I'll be blunt. I don't want you getting involved. Kenzie's eyes twitched. Oh, yeah. Things just got a lot more complicated. It's dangerous in there. Yosuke and I barely made it out in one piece. But you did. Twice, if I'm not mistaken. They escaped, while Saki did not. Wasn't Akechi was stepped on either of them. Only for it solidified that he should have gone back. This was their fault, and only a few years older. What makes you more qualified? Scowls readily formed on his face, surprisingly sharp for an otherwise calm individual. This isn't a game, Akechi-kun. People died in there. Yes, they did. If you'd gone back there, there's a chance at least one of them would still be alive. You think I don't know that? You think I haven't carried that guilt all day? I'm sure you have. But that doesn't change the fact that I was right. You had the opportunity to regroup. You had hours to retrieve her before those things attacked. If Akechi had the power, if he could just do something, but damn well saved Saki Konishi. He had been in scraps before. He wandered the streets alone even as a younger child. True, he became frailer due to neglect and only just started to regain some meat on his bones, but you could see his eyes beneath his hand. Listen, if you enter the TV world when the fog lifts there, the shadows attack. And as far as we know, the only way is out through that specific TV in Tunis. If Teddy's there to let you out. The bear's name was Teddy? Huh, how original. So that was interesting. And how did you face these shadows? I did. We didn't go very deep. There's a lot we don't know about that world, and I'm not going to risk your life like that. It wouldn't be fair to you, Tojima, or Nanako. The edge of his voice was gone now. He adjusted his posture, staying straighter, folding his hands in his lap. You're a part of the family, too. Probably a bigger part of it than me, for being honest. Did he actually mean that? Or was this using flattery to talk Akechi down? He narrowed his eyes, wanting to drop his guard. You don't think I have what it takes. I think it'd be reckless to endanger a kid's life when I don't know what we're up against. As he crossed his arms and turned up his nose at the oh-so-noble Murakami. You're so insufferable. And you're too stubborn for your own good. If I wasn't stubborn, I'd be dead. That seemed to quiet you down. Good. You let that silence permeate a bit. Anyway, it's raining. Let's see what the Midnight Channel brings. Fine! That was the rough edge in Yu's voice again. At least he dropped the subject. For a moment, he turned the TV on. It seemed counterproductive. The region has seen an abnormal amount of fog over the past few years. The cause of this climate change is unknown. Whatever reason, the residents of Inaba area should be careful. Our broadcast tonight has extended to bring you up-to-date news on the incident in Inaba. An increase of fog was rather foreboding, especially in light of recent events. Was there a meaningful connection? These murders seemed too recent, too sudden to have been a years-long trend. TV blinked off just in time. Static filled the unlit screen as it had before, and Akechi raided his phone camera, and I could hear the music in my head. A mere silhouette appeared this time, of a girl in a kimono, long hair, judging by his physique, still somewhat young. Yukio Amagi is going to be the next target. Akechi says he snapped a picture. All lines up too perfectly. There's even a connection to the Yamano case. He leaned forward, taking his head in both hands. Still can't look away, huh? Only a fool would ignore something this big. I am more capable than you think. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.